All right, welcome back to another episode of the All American Hoops Podcast, episode 95. I'm Chris Driscoll. Joining me, as per usual, is my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. We're in the dog days of the off season, I would say. We were trying to see what we were going to talk about today, and there's not a lot going on. So,
Yeah,
but I am very excited as always.
Of course. Yeah, and yeah, furthest thing from dreading this, but the fact that I didn't type up an agenda for tonight, it's usually my favorite time of week. Wednesday nights is I usually get back from my church group. I sit in bed, then I type out an agenda, send it to you and John usually, and then it's like that. Yeah, yesterday I just had no drive to do that. I'm like, it's not that I didn't have a drive, it was more so like, oh yeah, I'll figure it out. Like we'll talk about something, and then after school at 3:00, and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't send them an agenda yet. But then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to either, just because I don't know what the hell we're gonna talk about. But yeah, we do have a couple things to talk about. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said it's going to be an awesome show, but it's a minute in. But stay on for those of you who are nobody's watching yet, but that's okay. For those of you that are watching not live, stay on. Yeah, we'll have a good show for you today. But Matt,
I will say, sorry not to cut you off. I will say in not next week, but the week after John passes his exam and comes back on the episode on the pod, we'll have way more to talk about. And I'd like to take this time to shout out a friend of the pod, Ryan O'Keefe, who passed his Series 66 exam today.
Good for him.
So I want to give him a special shout out. But what were you going to say? Happy what?
Today's first of all, shout out Ryan O'Keefe, also former Jimmy's Cucina delivery driver as well. So that's another thing to add on as well. Shout out Goat. Happy DeAndre Bemby played for the Hawks, the Raptors, the Nets, and let's see, I feel like I just had it up. So the Hawks, the Raptors, the Nets, and the Bucks last played in 2022. And Juan Toscano Anderson played for the Warriors, Lakers, Jazz, and played for the Kings in 2024, but didn't play last year. So
he was on the 2022 Warriors, I think, the team that beat the Celtics.
He was on the 2022 Warriors. Yep. Yeah, and then right after that, joined the Lakers for sure. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Yeah, I'm always interested to see like where those guys' careers usually go, and it's usually not. I'm sure some of them get paid, but yeah, he wasn't really that big of a contributor. So, definitely interesting for sure. He'll probably be like a guy that ends up getting picked up in the middle of the season for no reason, just to fill a roster spot. But who knows?
Yeah, definitely better football players to wear 95. Chris Jones, Quentin Williams, I believe, on the Jets.
Okay, makes sense.
Miles Garrett as well. So. Definitely better than the NBA talent.
Absolutely. All right. So one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is just so random, and I kind of wish I did this before mentioning the players that won 95 because it was kind of similar to what you were saying. They say that sometimes the difference between great teams and champions are just the mid game, not even mid game, just the overall coaching adjustments. Like Erik Spoelstra moving Chris Bosh to the 5, Bill Belichick just completely switching over the Patriots defense in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I definitely think the best adjustment that I've ever made was moving the pod from Tuesdays at 6 to Thursdays at 8. I'm pretty sure it's been over a year now. Tuesdays at 6, we did that for 6 months, and it was fine. It was fine for the first 4 months, just because John was working from home. He was able to come on every episode. But after that, you started commuting. You were commuting and then coming home literally for with 10 minutes to spare for you to get ready. John was obviously commuting in the city, and then even me, I was getting home after 4, so I really didn't have time to go to the gym or anything as well. Definitely one of my better decisions I've made about this. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Thursdays, as everyone knows, is the day that I make dinner for the family. So today I did a fantastic job and picked up McDonald's for Chris and I to celebrate National Cheeseburger Day.
Yep.
So, we got to celebrate a holiday, and we had a little extra time to prep for the podcast that didn't have an agenda or anything like that today.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's gonna be good.
Absolutely. The reason I thought of it was because we were talking about it says down here that NBA Max is on Sundays. I still haven't changed that yet. It's moved to Wednesdays at 8. We had our first episode without it last night, or not without it. We had our first episode of NBA Max on Wednesday night last night. That actually felt really good because I mentioned at the beginning of the episode when I hear this theme song.
Gets it to LeBron for 3 for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer! Gordon cuts through. They go to Barrett. He'll turn and shoot for the win. Oh! Bingo!
So when I hear that theme song, I usually get the Sunday scaries. So it was played Wednesday. It was Hump Day, just like regular. I'm like okay, I like this now, but I still like art. But like I was like, okay, maybe we'll do NBA Max on Thursdays. We could switch. I'm like others. I'm like no, like I like the underrated feeling is the post feeling after the pod. We're like, okay, tomorrow's Friday. We just had a good pod, in a good mood. So I'm happy that I'm happy that I didn't let my guard down and say like, oh, maybe we could do it then. No, I'm happy that NBA Max is no longer at 10 o'clock on Sundays, and I'm very happy that I made that decision a year ago.
Yeah, I will say no more West Coast prime time for NBA Max. You guys actually stopped the episode before midnight last night. It was the first time I think ever.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but like who knows? Actually, maybe with the new NBA Max time, we'll be able to catch the start of most of the national times games because those are starting at 11 o'clock. But yes, I don't think that's on Wednesdays though. I feel like it's on Tuesdays, but I could be wrong. But like I could just I feel like we bring it up every week, but like we've talked about it the past couple of weeks. We talked about Adam Silver last week. I think we talked about him on NBA Max as well. But what are we doing, man? 11 o'clock. All right. Anyway, as Matt said, it's the dog days of the offseason. So if you want to really like keep yourself relevant over the offseason, you got to make a big list. I usually wait until the beginning of the season just because I like to emphasize how much I'm projecting my lists. So yeah, like my top 100, I have started writing it actually, my top 100, like 10 players at a time. That has been coming out. But when other people, like it's the dog days of the offseason, they make lists of other things. And Jason Timpf of the Volume, I like to give him his flowers just because like I feel like he's very detail oriented with some of these things. However, like because like I'll listen to his pod, like and he'll like say things that I agree with, like he'll like dive into some things, but it's the conclusion that he leads to is my biggest thing. Yeah, so I just want to make that clear is that like I don't want to come off. I don't want to say he's dumb because he's the furthest thing from it, but we just come to the different conclusions all the time. Do you think that's a good way of saying that, Matt? I don't know how much you listen to his stuff, but
no, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, so he came up with a couple of lists. One of them being the top 10 teams of the past 25 seasons. Now, before I show you it, he did clarify 2 days later that he didn't pick like teams that like won back to back. He did like one of those teams at a time, which pretty genius move if you're asking me. Just because I'll show it right now. Actually, just the one. No, it is not. It's the other one. So. Obviously, the 2017 Warriors people know that as the best team of all time. We're first or second, along with the 96 Bulls, and obviously the 2018 Warriors, who obviously were a worse team than the 17 Warriors because they lost to they didn't lose, but they had fewer regular season wins. Almost lost the Rockets. It took Chris Paul being injured for them to like. Actually, I don't want to say that because they could have won even if Chris Paul was healthy. But yeah, there's a clear gap between 17 and 18. I don't know personally if I would put the 18 Warriors at number 2 if we're including every single team because of that. But before we do that, we didn't make a list of this just because we didn't want to completely copycat exactly what Timpf did. But Matt, if you were to make a list like this, what do you think your criteria would be?
So I'm just a little confused. Like he did top 10 champs the last 25 years, correct? So since 2000. And like so because he put the 2017 Warriors, he wasn't allowed to put the 2018 Warriors is what he said.
Yes, according to his I believe that's what he said. Like he sent a follow-up tweet yesterday if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well if I was doing this list, I wouldn't have that as a criteria. Am I allowed to say that? Okay.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and like what you said, like if you're going by best teams of all time, the 2017 Warriors are kind of unanimously considered the best team of all time, especially by guys around our age. I mean, people in older generations might say the 96 Bulls, but I think if you're going by the last 25 years, I definitely would have the 2018 Warriors second. I just don't know. I know they almost lost to the Rockets in 7. It took a historically bad shooting night from the Rockets. They missed, I think, 27 straight in Game 7, right. And a Chris Paul injury to beat them. But just going by like pure talent on the roster, I still think they're the second best team in the last 25 years. And this is definitely a little homer pick. I would have the Celtics a little higher than 7, and I would also have the Thunder a little higher than 6. I know the Thunder's playoff run showed that they weren't like a I wouldn't even say it showed that they weren't an all-time great team because I still consider the Thunder this year an all-time great team.
I agree.
They had a historic regular season, and they beat the Nuggets in 7. And the Nuggets are a good team. They have the best player in the league. And
Yep.
then they the finals. I mean, I thought the finals would be done in 5 or 6, and it went to 7. And Halliburton got hurt. Who knows what would have happened in Game 7? But Halliburton did get hurt. I hate to say that, but they did win. So I would have them. Their full body work last season puts them in a historic category. I would have them in the top 5 of the last 25 years, definitely. I have them at 4 on my kind of rough draft list. Maybe 5. Maybe put the 0-1 Lakers above them, but I'm not really sure. I might have the Thunder last year above the Lakers in 0-1.
The 0-1 Lakers are complicated just because they went 15-1 in the playoffs. They lost 1 game in the finals, but they swept through the West. But however, they won 56 games in the regular season. So it's not 56 games is good. It's very good, but it's not great. I consider 60 great. But so it's one of those things we had to balance out. How great do you think how great the team was in the regular season versus the playoffs, or like how much weights are you going to hold that against them? Because with with the Lakers, obviously they won the championship the year prior. Shaq was still the best player in the world, so I'm assuming that they were coasting along the regular season in just hopes that Shaq was gonna explode in the playoffs like he always did. So that's what ended up happening. So I don't know if that move bumps them up a couple spots. However, I prefer having a season like the Thunder because they dominated for 82 games and then grinded it out for the playoffs. So like maybe not as dominant in the playoffs, but totally beat up on the whoever they played in the first round. I forgot. Was the Pelicans or no? That was
the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies, yeah, the Pelicans were the year prior. They beat up on the Grizzlies. Nuggets were in 7 games, but it was pretty impressive the fact that they were down 2-1 and then they came back. Then ended up beating up on the Timberwolves, and then the Pacers were just a very interesting team to say the least. So I put the Thunder higher than the Lakers, I think, because one thing that I'll mention in my criteria is that I'm not going to do it based on how great these teams would play together. So I think I for one think that the 0-1 Celtics would get beat up the 24 Celtics would lose to the 0-1 Lakers in playoff series, just because I don't think that Horford and Porzingis would be able to contain Shaq, just because they didn't have much. I don't know about that, actually. It's tough, just because the 17, you could say that about the 17 Warriors too. Obviously Draymond is one of the best defenders of all time, but he's only 6'6" at the end of the day, and Shaq's 7'1". So really none of these teams Matt.
That's why it's really hard to make lists like this, because it's a totally different era. I mean, in 2001, teams had 3 centers over 7 feet just to guard Shaq, and I mean, now you say, oh, nobody can guard Shaq, he'll have 50 points against the Celtics or against these Warriors teams. But then, I mean, like you see, it's a lot of coaches, it's just like a math problem now. 3 is more than 2. I don't think the Lakers have the perimeter defense in 2001 that could guard a Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, or even could guard the 2025 Thunder or the 2024 Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% agree with that. So
I have go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, based on looking at this list, it seems that as if he valued the playoffs a little more, because obviously the Warriors were 16-1, the Lakers were 15-1, the Heat. Like I said, I would have put the 2012 Heat here first, but I know the Heat won in 7 games in the finals. I don't know how many games they lost in the I'm assuming that was one of those years that the Pacers pushed them to 7 games. I think it was it that year, 2013, 2014? I don't know, but. Yeah, the Lakers beat the Magic in 5 games. The Spurs beat the Heat in 5 games. Thunder were longer. Celtics 16-3. 2020 Lakers, I believe, were also 16-3. I'm pretty sure they only lost to the Rockets once. They lost to the Blazers once. Lost to the Nugget, or maybe 16-4. Actually, I think it was 16-4. And then obviously the Cavs were a little bit longer, and then the Nuggets. But Matt, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, but I take it back now. I was going to say I'm a little surprised because when people talk about, I guess it's not greatest teams, it's greatest runs of all time. Everyone always brings up the 2011 Mavericks, but they won 36 games that year. So that's why they're not included in greatest teams of all time. But if Timpf was, valuing the playoffs very high. I'm shocked that he didn't have them maybe at. I would no, but the thing is, the Nuggets were a better team. They won what 53 games that year, 56. I forget the exact number, but
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean,
It's
tough list to crack.
very, very tough list to crack for sure. But since we're saying that, I feel like I know that like a lot of people find this team very unlikable just because of the way that they behaved since after the finals. Not even just behaved, because I feel like they haven't really had many off the court issues. Actually, that's not true. Pierce had a couple off the court issues, but and he made it very public actually. So no, but I'm putting the 2008 Lakers without a doubt over the 2023 Nuggets. Like I don't think that one's even close.
2008 Celtics.
Yeah, I'm putting the 08 Celtics over the 23 Thunder. Like again, not even close. The Celtics won 66 games that year, and yes, they had two 7-game series. Oh no, sorry. One, two. Yeah, one against the Hawks, one against the Cavs, and then two more 6. Yeah, so like they didn't have any 5-game series, so like maybe you dock them a couple points there, but still they're one of the best regular season teams of all time. I think the Garnett's like which again, like you don't want to value too much star power in a list like this, in my opinion, but and again, like I'm contradicting myself based on like how teams would play each other. Like I think the 08 Celtics would give all these teams a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, elite offensive team, elite defensive team, first in net rating that year in 2007 to 2008. They just dominated the entire year. I mean, you win a championship with Doc Rivers, you got to be a super talented team. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was being biased there too, but I totally agree that they should be on this list.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. I love Jokic personally. Like I was super impressed with what the Nuggets did that year, but at the end of the day, they didn't play any teams that won. Was it over 50 games, or was 50, right? So that's which like at the end of the day, rings are rings, but it's
But when you're comparing it to other rings, that's when
exactly
you start criticizing.
Exactly. So what are the teams that they're missing? So they're missing the 2019 Raptors. They were
wow.
Yeah, so they were the second seed that year. And then 7 games against the Sixers, 6 games against the Bucks, 6 games against the Warriors. They're another team. I'm probably taking the 2019 Raptors over the 2023 Nuggets, honestly. I know the Raptors had to beat a broken Warriors team in order to win the finals, but the Nuggets had to beat an 8-seeded Heat team. So I wouldn't like 2020 Jokic is probably a little better than 2019 Kawhi, unless you're factoring in like the second and third rounds, but or like putting heavier weight on second and third rounds. But I'm probably taking the 20. Yeah, I don't know if I put them in the top 10, but
would you take the bubble Lakers over the Nuggets as well?
I would take the bubble Lakers over the Nuggets. I think
I would too. They're not on this list, right? Yeah, no.
They are. Number 8.
Oh, my fault. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, here's a question, Matt. Would you take the 2016 Cavs or the 2019 Raptors?
I would say because of the 3-1 comeback and the
beating the 73-1 team.
Yeah, exactly. You beat the best regular season team of all time with the unanimous MVP. I would take the Cavs.
Yeah. I've always said that I think the 2017 Cavs were better than the 2016 Cavs.
I agree.
Because they added Kyle Korver, they added Darren Williams. Yeah, they were just a more deep team at that time. But they just happened to run into Kevin Durant instead of without him. So, definitely an interesting one for sure. But are we missing any more? 2015 Warriors would maybe be higher on this list. I don't know. Probably not. I'd probably slip them just outside the top 10. They did win 65 games that year, I think. At least 60. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure 65 though. You put the 2014 Spurs on there. Put the 13 Heat, 11 Mavs.
The
10.
2014, 2015 Warriors won 67 games.
It was 67. Okay, yeah, I knew it was a lot. So that makes sense. And after that, the Lakers, obviously, from 2000 2002. The 03 Spurs were not a good team outside of Duncan. And I guess if we're making like the full list, I guess the Pistons I'm assuming they'd be last on this list for most people. I don't know. Either them or the 06 Heat, just because Shaq was on his decline and it took D Wade exploding in the playoffs in order for them to win. But I don't know.
Then would you have the 2011 Mavs third to last?
Probably, I guess, maybe even second to last behind the Heat. Yeah, depending. Yeah, just because. Yeah, like that 06 team beat the Mavericks earlier. So I'm not sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, but yeah, like I guess I'll put the 11 Mavs over them just because they beat like prime LeBron. In that sense, so yeah, I'll probably take them there. All right, yeah. So that's talking about all the champions on the list, for sure. Kind of wish I made my own list, but I feel like that would take a little bit longer than making the players list. But we do have another list to show you from Timpf. It is the top 10 non-champions of the past 25 years. Now, so there's for some of these there's no particular season. So he has the Russ KD Thunder at 1, the 0-2 Sacramento Kings at 2, the Harden CP3 Rockets at 3, Reggie Miller Pacers at 4. It's funny. I always feel like the Pacers are like over 25 years ago for whatever reason. I guess because he played against Jordan for a couple of those years.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard Magic at 5, 7 seconds or less Suns at 6, Jason Kidd Nets at 7, young LeBron Cavs at 8, Kawhi Leonard 2016 Spurs, and the Lob City Clippers. A lot to consider here. I don't know if there's anything you change or if there's anything that comes to mind. What are your thoughts, Matt?
Well, again, is his criteria that the non-champions, it's not like by year, like because he has the 0-2 Kings, but does that mean like could I have the 2015-2016 Warriors on this list or the 2015-2016 Spurs on this list?
I think he said no, just because. Yeah, like again, this is another one that's not included, which like you could only include so much in the graphic, but like I'm pretty sure that he stated like these are teams that did not eventually win a championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would have the Harden CP3 Rockets probably first.
I agree 100%.
Because they ran into, the greatest team of all time, and it took a historically bad shooting night as stated before for them not to make the finals. I did a tad bit of research actually before the pod, funny enough. The Seattle Supersonics, they won 63 games. I think it was, let me look this up, but they lost in the first round to the 8-seeded Nuggets. In 5 games, but I think it was 5 games anyway. Like it was a 5-game series anyway at that point. But I mean, 63 games and you can't even make it out of the first round. But the Sonics never won a championship. So in that area in the 90s. So let me see, what year was that? 1993-94.
Okay.
And they lost in the first round.
That makes sense. I'm trying to check out some things right now. So some of the best duos to never win a championship. So one of them being that they mentioned the Lob City Clippers. I don't know how much of that is nostalgia or how much of that is just like how much fun they were together. Because obviously the Lob City Clippers they never got past the second round. But at the end of the day, they did lose to some pretty great teams. They did lose to the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. One of those years, I'm assuming they lost to the Spurs one of those years. I know they beat up on the Rockets one time. I don't know though. It's interesting to consider what people think about with like some of the because there's another team I want to talk about as far as it goes for nostalgia on this list.
I mean, they won over 55 games for 3 straight regular seasons, 2012 to 2014, 2015, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they were a very good team.
They were,
but I maybe it is a bit of nostalgia because they lost in the semis 2 years and lost in the first round one of those years. So
makes sense. One thing I feel like if you were to poll NBA Twitter on this, or NBA TikTok, or like guys that like just like watching as they say pure hoops, one thing that they would need to that they would have to put on there is the Zebra Run Memphis Grizzlies.
The grit and grind.
Grit and grind Grizzlies. And I'm honestly surprised that didn't make the cut. However, there have been a lot of great teams in the 21st century.
Sorry, cut out there for a second. What was the last part you said?
Yeah, no, I got. Yeah, I know I did, but yeah, I was saying just that. Yeah, there's just been a ton of great teams in the 21st century, so it is tough to squeeze some of these guys in there.
Yeah, especially if the criteria is 0 rings, like not
exactly.
Like a lot of great teams ended up winning a ring, so it's tough to have teams that like because he has Kawhi on the Spurs here, but like Kawhi won. I guess it was
2014.
his led Spurs. Yeah.
So, well, yeah, because like it's always said, like, yeah. So the 2016 season was like debatably the best of all time, just because they had they had 3 teams in the West itself that won 60 plus games. And then in addition to that, like none of those teams won the finals. It ended up being the Cavs who won 50 something games that year. They definitely didn't win 60. So yeah, that's why people consider that one of the best teams of all time. There's one more thing I was trying to consider, but yeah, like I wonder how much sample size matters for him here, just because obviously you're going to include the Rockets and the Warriors. But yeah, like, and I definitely don't expect this team to be on here, but I would have loved to see some Isaiah Thomas love 2017 Celtics, but that was only for one season, and yeah, they did not win 60 games there, so that would have been tough to justify that.
Yeah, and they got smoked in the playoffs by the Cavs that year.
Yeah, they got smoked, and then Isaiah Thomas got injured, and he was never the same after that. So it's probably part of the reason why the nostalgia is mixed in there. I feel like I'm missing someone else. Maybe. Yeah, like I'm always.
It was only a year, but the 2018-2019 Sixers were a very good team, especially with the Jimmy Butler edition.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say them.
One roll away from maybe talking about Embiid totally in different light.
Talking about Embiid differently, and I think that Kawhi Leonard is forgotten about in history as well.
Wow.
Yeah, like I love Kawhi. I think that he gets overlooked in some talks because of his injuries, but if he lost in the second round that season, and then everything happened after that was the same thing, where like blowing the 3-1 lead in the bubble, getting injured in 2021, finally making the conference finals. He actually did make the conference finals. He won 3 games, I think, and then lost in the closeout game, or got injured before the closeout game. And yeah, after that, just injury after injury for him, unfortunately. So I personally have him like chest outside the top 30, like in between 30 and 35. But I don't know if I'd have him in my top 50 without that championship run, which sounds silly just because I don't know if a playoff run justifies that much. But with me, it's not just the playoff run; it's also looking at everything from lens, from being one of the best two-way players of all time, and just being not just one of the best two-way players of all time, but just someone who's one of the best scorers, as well as being one of the best defenders in the league. And yeah, one more thing, since we're talking about all-time rankings. So I have James Harden, I believe, at 34. I want to say maybe, yeah, because I'm pretty sure I have James Harden at 34 and Chris Paul at 35. I'm checking this right now. But there are another one who I wonder if Chris Paul didn't get injured and then they didn't put up that historically bad shooting nights. Just double checking before I give my numbers exactly. So yes, yeah, exactly. So I had James Harden at 34, Chris Paul at 35. That's a little bit lower than most people. I know that Aaron, aka Possible Chairs, has Harden at 26. I think that's way too high. And then he has Chris Paul like the early 30s, I think. If they were able to win the finals that year, and knocked off the 2018 Warriors, how great wonders would that have done for their legacy?
Yeah, I think James Harden is the guy that would benefit the most in all-time rankings if he won a ring.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that counts would you think that counts players that already have rings? Or do you think like adding one more ring? Do you think Kevin Durant would benefit more or James Harden? I'm just thinking out loud of who would.
I would think James Harden, just because if Kevin Durant won with the Nets or if he won with the Suns, I guess I'll use the Nets as a better example because with the Suns, I feel like part of his legacy was already tarnished because of the way that he left. But yeah, I'd say if he won with the Nets in 2021, like if KD's toe in wasn't too big, and then he ends up winning the finals that year, KD would be in some top 10 talks, but I still don't know people would put him ahead of Steph because Steph would have won that ring without him, or 2 rings without him. But like, yeah, so he'd move up a couple spots. James Harden, I think, would. Yeah, let me just list off some of the guys I have ahead of him. So ahead of Harden, I have Rick Barry, Scottie Pippen, Kawhi, David Robinson, and Isaiah Thomas. I think the Harden would be above all those guys with that ring. And then you can also get into some of the older guys. So Elgin Baylor, John Havlicek, Bob Pettit, George Mikan. Those are 4 guys who most people would take out because of solely their age. So yeah, I think that James Harden would be a consensus top 25 player and maybe even higher if you were to have that ring. Definitely higher, actually. Yeah, because like I'm definitely putting him. I'm probably even putting him ahead of Charles Barkley, Dwayne Wade, and Karl Malone with that ring, especially because 2018 was such a historic year. It would have been an MVP, and then it would have been a championship ring after that.
And he would have beaten the Warriors.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have just been a ring. It would have been like one of the most impressive playoff runs of all time.
Yeah. So James Harden would have gotten like a lot of the credit, but I feel like Chris Paul. I feel like he would have jumped as well, just because Chris Paul has all the accolades in the world, and he's known to be one of the best passers of all time, and also one of the best point guard defenders of all time. Yeah, so he would have been another one that probably would have cracked the top 30 in most people's list, but like because like some people already have him top 30. Who knows? Yeah, but yeah, now they're reunited. And let's see. The Clippers aren't going to win a title, but let's see how far James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul team can lead you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to have them in the Western Conference Finals again.
Not this year. Did I have them last year? I feel like I might have.
You had them beating the Nuggets. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Well, no, I had them beating the Thunder too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, definitely had them. And then I had them losing to the Lakers. So, yeah, I don't think that's happening this year. But however, we'll see. Yeah, definitely don't ever count that part out. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, don't have a graphic for this one, but however, by the way, good job. We were able to kill a half hour with that. So, so the last thing, or I guess like the last thing on the agenda, I should say, that I wanted to bring up was Kevin Durant's quotes, which like I couldn't find the full context of the clip, but someone asked him, would you be open to playing for Team USA in 2028? In Los Angeles, by the way. So I feel like this might have something to do with it as well. The fact that he wouldn't have to be too far away from his family. Or not his family, but yeah, just be too far away from home, I should say. But then he said, if I'm still me, I'll go. So if he's still Kevin Durant, he's still a top 10 player, he'll still go. Matt, are you buying this, or do you think he's just saying like, or he's just saying this just either for clicks or just to save himself when he wants to eventually go back and play?
I don't think Kevin Durant has a problem with saying things that people don't want to hear. So I don't think he's saying it just for clicks or just for people to, be excited about it or for people to talk about him. He's 36 right now. He's turning 37 at the end of the month, one day before Dad. So he's going to be 40 by the time the Olympics start next go around. And I remember during the Olympics, he said something similar to this. Like, they're like, oh, would you want to be like a mentor to the young guys, like a Cooper Flag, or I'm trying to like guys that haven't been there before, or guys that have been there, like a Halliburton, but didn't really play a lot. So, and he said, I wouldn't want to just be like the veteran on the bench. Like if I'm on the team, I want to be playing. So I do believe that if he's still a very, very good player and will still get time, that he will play. But being 40 years old, 3 years. So I'm trying to think of, for 3 years ago, Kevin Durant was still very good, but like, has he dropped off that much in the last 3 seasons?
For quality of play, no. It's been the durability, I feel like, for the most part for him. Which, by the way, I don't think he'll care about really. Like it's like he might just think, okay, I've been playing for 20 years at this point, and if injuries are my concern, I'm just going to play as much basketball as I can. Like I don't really care. Like I think he just cares about playing basketball more than like you saw him in the Court of Gold documentary where he was like crying about how much he loved basketball, like not even crying about how much he loved the NBA. Like he just wants to play basketball. So maybe he even prioritizes the Olympics. He might even prioritize the Olympics over the NBA at that point. I don't know. I could be just totally making that up, but who knows?
In his last 2 seasons, he played 75 games and 62 games. So I know 62 isn't a ton. He missed 20 games, but it's more than his last the the last 3 years before that. I mean, last 4 years because he missed the entire season with that. But I do think if he is healthy, he will play because I think, like you said, Chris, he is a basketball sicko. So he does have a little screw loose. So I think he would be down to play. I didn't realize the Olympics were in LA. I mean, that's definitely a bonus for guys to play on the team.
So I made a list. So because like another thing started up was how many of the 2024 Olympics guys would be back on the team. So I said that not likely would be LeBron, KD, Steph, Embiid, and Drew. Those are the 5 guys that will most likely not be in the team because of age and injuries. With Embiid's case, I'm thinking almost definitely likely will be on the team. The last guy maybe not, but Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Derek White, and Anthony Davis. I think that Derek White personally will be back because he does that role so well, just being the guy you bring off the bench and can play defense and pass and shoots. So he's someone I think would be. And Anthony Edwards too. Yeah, like I know he's been someone. Yeah, I think he's the only like for sure lock in my opinion because of age, and I think at that point he'll be like without a doubt top 5 player, maybe even the best American player in the league. And then the 2 TBDs are obviously Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton, depending on where they are health wise, and just in Tatum's case, whether or not he just wants to waste his time playing in the Olympics, especially with how he was treated in 2024.
Yeah, I think Tatum will definitely want to play. Again, I don't think he's a guy to really hold grudges.
True.
I also feel the same way, but it is a little different than it was a couple years ago. I feel like there's more science, and they both toured at a very young age. Mm-hmm. So I do think that in 3 years' time that they will be back to, if not 100%, because I don't think anyone can come back to 100%. I think they will be around 95%. But do you think Derek White and Anthony Davis will definitely be playing? How old? Anthony Davis would be 35 and Derek White would be 34. So, I mean, that is something to consider, especially with durability with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, so let's lay it out just because I think that if AD wants to, I think he'll be back. I don't think it's a matter of him, just because I feel like there aren't many bigs. Because I think for bigs, I think AD will be back. I think Bam will be back. And I think the last big, I think, will be Chet Holmgren.
I have Chet on my list as well.
Yeah, so I would think Chet's. I don't know if there's any other. Like the other big that I could think of is Walker Kessler. He'd be the one that would be there just for like to play like that role. Like just need to go in and grab a couple rebounds. But I don't know if he's good enough to be in the list. He's like a little worse than he was his rookie year. I feel like I don't think he peaked, but
he was pretty solid last year actually. I know his sophomore year he fell off a little bit, but. Mm-hmm. Let me see. How long has he been in the league?
Was he? What's this? His fourth season going into?
Year of the Rudy Gobert trade.
Yes, so that would have been that was the summer of 2022. So 23. Yeah, so he just finished his 3rd year, going into his 4th year.
Yeah. I mean, he led the league in offensive rebounds last year. Chris, he had a pretty solid year. 11.1 and 12.2. And granted, it was on the Jazz, but still.
Yeah. Well, having solid defense is going to be very important.
I have a big guy that you didn't mention who wasn't on the team.
Who?
Evan Mobley.
Oh shit! Yeah, obviously. He'll definitely be there, especially. I'll definitely put him ahead of Chet, but I know some people might think that in the next 3 years, Chet might be better than him because of his offensive abilities. But I don't know. Yeah, that's another. He's obviously the trend here feels to be if this guy's healthy, unfortunately, but that's especially the case with Chet. So I don't know.
I have another big guy, then another guy that could play the 4.
Okay,
that wasn't on the list. Jaren Jackson Jr. He'd be 29.
Okay, all right.
I think him over Walker Kessler, and then Scotty Barnes.
I agree, 100%. He's American. Scotty
Barnes, yeah.
He is okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I think him just playing on the Raptors makes me think that he wasn't.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So he's I'd put him in the wing category just because there's already enough bigs that I think I'll take ahead of Scott. But yeah, he's a 4. So along with the 3s, the 4s, and I'll even put the 2s in the category too, like guys that play the 2 but probably couldn't be the 1. So I'm putting Barnes, I'm putting Tatum, I'm putting Ant and Booker. Am I the one freezing or is it you? Ant and Booker, and I'll also probably put Paolo Banchero as well. I think he's a lock. So like I'm just writing anyone down. So yeah, Barnes, Tatum, and Booker and Paolo. Is there anyone that I'm missing? Obviously.
For wings, you're saying?
Yeah.
J-Dub?
That's exactly what. Yeah, like we talked about this last night in BMAX. Yeah, like because they need someone to fill that Drew role of like being the guy that can guard the team's best player and just like not to go the ball too much. That might have to be J-Dub, but I don't know.
Cooper Flag?
Coop for sure. Yeah, I think he's a lock, honestly.
Yeah.
And then the guards, the only guard that I could really think of outside of Halliburton is what's his name, Cade, just because I feel like a lot of the
Anthony Edwards.
I was thinking ball handler for just guard, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, if you would ask me my starting five as of today, I guess assuming everyone's healthy, I would probably go with Cade at the 1. I would probably put Ant I would definitely put Ant at the 2. I guess I'll put Tatum at the 3. And projecting 3 years from now. So yeah, I'll put Mobley at the 4, and then I'll put Anthony Davis at the 5, I think. Just because I'd rather the veteran guy, especially with guarding Wemby in that case would be the one of the top priorities.
And another guard, you said at ball handler, your favorite player, Jalen Brunson, would be only 32 years old, and Donovan Mitchell will be 32 as well. I know it's a little older on the older side, but
I'd rather not have either of those guys on the team just because I feel like they're a little too ball dominant and also too small. Which I know that Halliburton was small as well, but like he's an elite playmaker as well. So like that's what kept him on the team. So yeah, both Dimich and Brunson, obviously both elites, isolation, and not even just isolation, but great just scorers in general. But I feel like that's the least important thing when building an Olympic team, in my opinion.
So I mean, that's why Drew and Derek White were on the team this year,
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So, like, I'd be surprised if I wouldn't be that surprised actually if Brunson was on the team, but I would be surprised if Donovan Mitchell was on the team. But who knows? But maybe they do add Brunson just because he's a New York guy and they want someone like that. Even just like veteran leadership too. Yeah, like you said, it'll be 32, so maybe. I'd be very, very surprised if Jaylen Brown got either offered, and even if he was offered, I feel like he wouldn't even go.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I think he burned a tad too many bridges in order to get that. But
yeah, I didn't even write him on my list.
Yeah, like I'm gonna include Hallie as like one of the main guys off the bench. Then I'll add J-Dub for sure. I'll add Paolo and I'll add Coop for sure. And then the backup center I think would be Chet. And then the last two guys as just like the main role players, I would put D White. And then Matt, the last guy I'm going to put actually is Herb Jones. He's going to be the last guy I put.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So just to be that's the main guy who can just come off the bench and just guard the best player in the last position of the game. Maybe it's like I don't know if there's another Drew Holiday up and coming. I'm trying to think of one that's just like not great. Yeah, like someone. Yeah, like it was either Jalen or Ori that brought up last night. They said Jalen sucks, but I don't think he's good enough on offense to justify that. But there's someone else. I feel like I'm missing someone, but I don't know. But yeah, it's filling the Drew Holiday might be tougher than people think.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's my.
Yeah, it might be me honestly.
My phone has been pretty crappy recently.
Oh, has it been?
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
Can you hear me still, Chris? I can't see you right now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
A guy like I know he's not. Sorry, it's totally my Wi-Fi. I know he's not like a point guard like Drew Holiday, but I think a guy that could come off the bench is Eamon Thompson, maybe one of the Thompson twins, though. 25 at the time of the Olympics.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad pick for either of those guys. I'd actually be surprised if it was neither of them. I know what you came up with my list. But yeah, I included Mobley, Chet, and AD. But I'd be surprised if it was all three of those guys. Like I feel like those are the three best options for bigs, especially with like I keep on saying Wemby, but like he's not he can't be the only top priority, even though he is going to be I think he's going to be the best player in the world at that point. So he will have to be one of the priorities definitely. But I don't know, at the end of the day, you have to build another team as well, like a solid team around you. So
I mean,
yeah.
just look, Jokic is I know it's different because Wemby's 7'5" and an athletic freak, but Jokic was the best player in the world this year. They didn't really build the team around beating Jokic. They built the team to make the best team possible.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be fun for sure. Yeah, but yeah, who knows? Cool. All right. We'll have, I'm sure we'll have this conversation like a few more times before 2028 because especially probably 1 year from now, like in the other dog days of the offseason, where who knows, maybe it's not even, maybe it's LeBron James that says it next year, like, oh, don't count me out in 2028 because all he has to do is call an Uber to go over to the stadium, so like he doesn't even have to move anywhere to do that. So it'll be it'll be fun. But all right, so what's today? Today's the 18th, so we only got a couple more weeks until the off season. So until preseason. So excited for that because had a lot of fun doing this, but like I'd rather talk about actual basketball and what
I agree.
we're going to do in the future. Like, no, I love talking about history. Obviously, you guys know I love doing that, but let's speed it up, guys. Let's get this here soon. But anyway, this was episode 95. Episode 100 is right around the corner. Just ironing out the final details. Should be a lot of fun. It should be like in the middle of October is what I'm thinking. Right, either around the preseason or right before the preseason. So it'll be something to look forward to for sure. Matt, any final words?
Always a pleasure, AH. Thank you for having me on. I am just going to echo your take about I am excited for the NBA season to start so we can talk about actual basketball instead of a bunch of hypotheticals, even though we love hypotheticals over here on the AH pod.
We sure do. Yeah. As much as I hate listing off hypotheticals in my all-time list, I love talking about them. So yeah, we'll definitely continue to do that. All right. Well, this has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at All American Hooper on TikTok and on Instagram, at American Hooper on Twitter. Check out my additional contacts, NBA Max on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, not Sundays at 10 o'clock anymore, despite what that says in the bottom. We're going to change that up next week. And check out, and I haven't written an article for Prime Time in a couple months, but stay tuned. I keep on saying that every week, but like actually stay tuned this time around because like I have to start writing those articles soon. Like it's not a matter of me getting it done. Like it's a matter of me having to get it done. So, all right. Well, this has been another episode of All American Hoops Podcast. Hope you enjoyed. Until then, keep grinding and stay hooping. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.